In the shadows of Fifth Avenue, a man walks past wearing a worn Casio watch worth $30, yet his net worth exceeds $2 billion. While across the street, another flashes a gold-plated timepiece and drives a leased luxury sedan, drowning in debt he cannot escape. The universe of true wealth operates on codes invisible to those chasing status symbols, and today, we decode the silent language that separates genuine affluence from desperate imitation. The quiet luxury movement has transformed how the global elite signals success, abandoning logos for subtlety, replacing ostentation with understated excellence. When Mark Zuckerberg appears in his signature plain gray t-shirt, valued at $300 from Brunello Cucinelli, most observers see simplicity, yet connoisseurs recognize 15,000 hours of Italian craftsmanship woven into every fiber. The fabric itself tells stories of Solomeo artisans who spend decades perfecting their technique, creating garments that feel like second skin while lasting multiple lifetimes. This represents the fundamental distinction. True luxury whispers while fake wealth screams for attention. The old money families of Europe have practiced this art for centuries. Their wealth so established it requires no announcement, no validation from strangers passing by. A Patek Philippe Calatrava sits quietly on the wrist, its elegant simplicity masking complications that took master watchmakers 18 months to assemble by hand. The person wearing it never mentions the price, never turns their wrist to catch light, never seeks acknowledgement of what they possess. If you appreciate the depth of research and storytelling that goes into uncovering these hidden codes of authentic luxury, consider subscribing and activating the notification bell to support our journey into the most exclusive corners of wealth and refinement. The craftsmanship distinction separates authentic luxury from mere expense in ways that become obvious once you understand where to look. A Hermès Birkin bag takes a single artisan between 18 and 24 hours to complete, with each stitch placed by hand using techniques passed down through generations of French leatherworkers. The person carrying fake wealth purchases the loudest handbag available, covered in monograms and status symbols, announcing their purchase to everyone within visual range. Meanwhile, someone carrying true wealth opts for the Rowe or Bottega Veneta, brands that eliminated external logos entirely, allowing only those with educated eyes to recognize the quality on display. The leather itself communicates volumes, developing a patina over years that machine-made alternatives can never replicate, aging gracefully instead of deteriorating rapidly. Loro Piana represents another pillar of this philosophy, creating garments from baby cashmere that requires combing 6 Mongolian goats to produce enough fiber for one single sweater. The resulting fabric weighs almost nothing yet provides extraordinary warmth, costing thousands of dollars while appearing deceptively simple to untrained observers. Someone chasing appearances might spend the same amount on a jacket covered in designer logos, seeking immediate recognition rather than enduring quality that improves with age. The automobile choices reveal perhaps the starkest contrasts between authentic and performed wealth. Someone driving a bright yellow Lamborghini with aftermarket modifications and custom license plates announcing their success typically finances the vehicle over 7 years, spending 60% of their annual income on car payments and maintenance. True wealth drives a Volvo station wagon or a tastefully maintained Mercedes S-Class from 2 model years prior, vehicles chosen for engineering excellence and safety rather than attention. Warren Buffett famously drove the same Cadillac for nearly a decade, replacing it only when safety features in newer models became significantly superior. The Toyota Land Cruiser represents another favorite among genuinely wealthy individuals, particularly those who built their fortunes through business acumen rather than inheritance. This vehicle costs less than many luxury sedans, yet offers legendary reliability, with examples regularly surpassing 500,000 miles with proper maintenance. The choice reflects values prioritizing substance over appearance, functionality over flash, longevity over temporary satisfaction. Residential choices provide equally telling indicators of authentic versus manufactured wealth. The truly affluent often maintain surprisingly modest primary residences, perhaps a well-appointed brownstone in Brooklyn or a classic colonial home in Connecticut, purchased decades ago and maintained impeccably. Their homes feature museum-quality art, first edition books, and furniture that appreciates rather than depreciates, investments that compound over generations. Someone performing wealth leases a penthouse with floor-to-ceiling windows in the newest development, filling it with trendy furniture that will be worthless in 5 years, posting endless images to social media for validation. The interior design itself betrays the difference. Authentic wealth favors timeless pieces from masters like Jean-Michel Frank or contemporary artists whose work museums actively collect. Fake wealth fills spaces with whatever currently trends on Instagram, replacing everything every few years to maintain appearances, burning money on depreciating assets. The color palette differs fundamentally. True luxury embraces sophisticated neutrals, rich earth tones, and complex textures that reveal depth upon closer inspection. Performed wealth gravitates toward high-contrast drama, gold fixtures, mirrored surfaces, anything that photographs dramatically, even if it feels cold and uncomfortable to actually inhabit. Educational investments separate these worlds perhaps more than any material possession, though this distinction receives less attention than watches or cars. Families with generational wealth spend hundreds of thousands ensuring their children attend the finest private schools and universities, investing in relationships and knowledge rather than objects. They understand that true luxury lies in having options, in possessing skills and connections that generate opportunities unavailable to those focused on appearances. Someone faking wealth might buy their child an expensive car for high school graduation while neglecting college savings, prioritizing visible status over invisible advantages. The vacation choices tell revealing stories. Authentic wealth disappears for weeks to private villas in Tuscany or remote estates in Patagonia, places with no cell service and no opportunity to broadcast their location. They value experiences that cannot be replicated, time spent in places requiring significant research to even discover, often returning to the same locations annually for decades. Fake wealth books the most expensive suite at the most photographed resort, spending the entire vacation staging social media content, measuring success by likes rather than actual relaxation or cultural enrichment. The dining habits create another clear distinction between authentic affluence and its imitation. True wealth frequents neighborhood establishments they have supported for years, often simple trattorias or bistros where the owner knows their preferences and treats them like family. They seek quality ingredients prepared by skilled chefs, caring nothing about whether the restaurant appears in guides or attracts celebrity clientele. Performed wealth only dines at establishments with months-long waiting lists, places they can mention in conversation or tag in posts, regardless of whether they actually enjoyed the meal. The timepiece worn on the wrist provides perhaps the most concentrated example of these opposing philosophies meeting on a single object. A Rolex Daytona in stainless steel costs $12,000 at retail, yet its elegant simplicity and legendary reliability make it a favorite among billionaires who appreciate engineering excellence. The same watch, when covered in aftermarket diamonds and modified with a colorful dial, appeals to someone seeking attention rather than quality, destroying the original design intent and voiding all authenticity. Audemars Piguet and Vacheron Constantin create timepieces requiring years on waiting lists, not through artificial scarcity, but because master watchmakers can only complete limited examples annually. Someone with real wealth waits patiently, understanding that certain things cannot be rushed, while someone performing wealth purchases gray market pieces at inflated prices to avoid the wait. The jewelry choices extend this pattern. Authentic wealth favors pieces from heritage houses like Cartier or Van Cleef and Arpels, often selecting items with minimal visible gemstones but extraordinary craftsmanship. A simple gold bangle from these makers contains more gold than cheaper alternatives, weighs noticeably more, and will retain value across generations. Fake wealth gravitates toward maximum carat weight and maximum visibility, choosing pieces designed primarily to be noticed rather than treasured. The material quality becomes obvious to anyone who handles these objects. The difference between 14 karat and 18 karat gold, between lab-grown and natural diamonds, between machine-set and hand-set stones. Physical fitness represents another arena where these distinctions manifest clearly, though perhaps counterintuitively. True wealth invests in personal trainers, nutritionists, and preventive health care, viewing their body as the ultimate luxury item requiring maintenance. They exercise in private gyms or through exclusive clubs like Equinox Hudson Yards, focusing on longevity and health rather than appearance. Performed wealth might purchase expensive athleisure wear and post-workout selfies, but lacks the discipline for consistent training, prioritizing the appearance of fitness over actual health. The technology choices reveal fascinating patterns. Someone with authentic wealth often uses a several-year-old iPhone, replacing it only when it stops functioning properly. They understand that constant upgrading provides minimal benefit while creating environmental waste, choosing sustainability over novelty. Fake wealth stands in line for every new release, purchasing the maximum storage capacity and most expensive case, treating phones as status symbols rather than tools. The social behavior perhaps provides the most reliable indicator of all. True wealth listens more than speaks, asks questions rather than making proclamations, shows genuine interest in others regardless of their status. They have nothing to prove and no insecurity to mask, approaching interactions with curiosity rather than competition. Performed wealth dominates conversations with stories designed to impress, name drops constantly, and visibly loses interest when speaking with anyone who cannot advance their social position. The philanthropic approach differs fundamentally. Authentic wealth often gives anonymously or through family foundations, focusing on long-term impact rather than recognition. They endow scholarships, fund research, support arts institutions, creating legacies that extend beyond their lifetimes. Fake wealth, when it gives it all, ensures maximum visibility, attending charity galas primarily for the photo opportunities and social connections. The employment history tells stories as well. Many individuals with generational wealth continue working in fields they find meaningful, contributing to society despite having no financial need. They view work as purpose rather than necessity, choosing careers in education, public service, or creative fields that feed their soul. Someone performing wealth might refuse certain jobs as beneath them, prioritizing title over substance, appearance over impact. Understanding these distinctions ultimately reveals that true luxury has little to do with price and everything to do with values, prioritizing quality over quantity, substance over appearance, longevity over trends. The wealthiest individuals often appear remarkably ordinary, their confidence eliminating any need for external validation through material display. They understand that real luxury means having choices, controlling your time, pursuing meaningful relationships, and leaving positive impacts on the world around you. The codes of quiet luxury remain invisible to those desperately seeking status, yet become crystal clear to those who understand that true wealth whispers while insecurity shouts.